I moved to the Philippines with no money, and everybody thought I was out of my mind. They told me I wouldn't last a week. They said I'd starve, I'd beg to come back home, but I wanted to prove them wrong. I wanted to test myself. So I stepped off that plane with nothing but a backpack, a broken phone, and a crazy dream to survive, and what happened next changed my life forever. When I first landed, the heat slapped me in the face. The air was heavy and sticky. My clothes clung to me. I could feel fear crawling in because the reality was sinking in. This wasn't a challenge on paper. This was real life. No money, no food, no place to stay. How do you even begin? I wandered out of the airport with nothing but faith. The streets were buzzing, jeepneys blasting their horns, tricycles weaving through traffic vendors calling out prices. The smell of roasted corn and grilled meat filled the air, and my stomach twisted with hunger. But my pockets were empty. That first night was the hardest. I walked for hours, unsure where to go, until I found a group of kids playing basketball barefoot on a dusty street. They noticed me and waved me over like I wasn't a stranger, like I was already part of the game. And when the game ended, one of their mothers brought out food, rice, fish, and vegetables. She handed me a plate without even asking who I was. I almost cried right there. I realized something important. Survival here wasn't going to come from money. It was going to come from people, from kindness, from community. And that meal carried me through the night. The next days were full of struggle. I had no bed. Sometimes I slept on a bench by the sea, sometimes in a chapel with open doors, sometimes in a hammock. Someone lent me the mosquitoes were brutal, the hunger worse. But every day I saw something that gave me strength in the Philippines. There's this word, bayanihan. It means helping one another without expecting anything in return. That spirit kept me alive. I remember going to a market. The colors were overwhelming. Mangoes, bananas, coconuts, chilies, everywhere. People laughing, bargaining, shouting prices. I had no money, but I offered to carry baskets for a vendor, and in return, he gave me bananas that became my breakfast, lunch, and dinner. It taught me that survival wasn't about taking, it was about giving first and then receiving. I drank from coconuts when I could. I helped fishermen pull in their nets, and they gave me fish. I swept floors at a carinderia, and the owner handed me a bowl of rice. Every day was a hustle, but every day reminded me of the generosity of people who had little, yet gave a lot. There were nights when I wanted to quit, nights when the hunger gnawed at me, nights when mosquitoes bit until I couldn't sleep. One night I sat by Manila Bay, my stomach empty, my spirit breaking. Then I heard a street musician singing with a broken guitar. His voice, raw but full of soul, strangers dropped coins into his hat. He smiled through the struggle and still shared his gift with the world. If he could sing through pain, I could fight through mine, and that night I promised myself I wouldn't give up. As weeks passed, I began to learn more about the culture, the smiles, the respect, the word salamat, thank you, the word kumusta, how are you? The word po, a sign of respect. Every time I used them, hearts opened. I wasn't just a foreigner anymore. I was becoming part of the family. One day I was invited to a fiesta. I didn't know what that meant until I saw the whole village alive. Music everywhere. Kids dancing, adults laughing, lechon roasting on a fire. Tables stacked with food. And the most unbelievable part was that I was welcome at that table with nothing to offer. They gave me more food than I could finish, and when I tried to thank them, they simply said, "This is the Filipino way. We share what we have in that moment." I understood that poverty is not always about money. Sometimes the richest people are the ones with the biggest hearts. Slowly, I found my rhythm. I woke up early, helped fishermen, worked with market vendors, carried bags for travelers. I ate whatever came my way. I bathed in rivers. I found shade under palm trees during the hottest hours. I learned to live with less and appreciate more. I stopped craving things I used to think I needed. I started finding joy in the smallest things. A sunrise over the sea, a smile from a stranger, a bowl of hot sinigang soup shared in candlelight. When the power went out, life was stripped down to its essence, and in that simplicity I found freedom. It wasn't always safe. I had to watch for scams, for storms, for places I didn't belong. I still remember when a typhoon hit and the wind howled like a beast, rain hammering down flooding streets. A family pulled me inside their tiny home. We huddled together as the storm shook the walls. They shared their food, their space, their warmth, and their kindness. I found shelter stronger than any roof I had ever paid for that night. I realized survival is not just about staying alive, it's about finding humanity even in chaos. The Philippines transformed me. I came with nothing and thought that made me poor, but I left realizing I was rich. I had stories, I had friendships, I had lessons that no money could buy. The country taught me resilience, gratitude, and humility. I remember walking through rice fields at sunset, the sky burning orange, farmers waving as they ended their day, and I thought to myself, this is what it means to live to be present, to be grateful, to be connected. I survived in the Philippines with no money, but what I gained was worth more than anything in my wallet. I gained a new perspective, a new family across the ocean, and a new belief that when you have nothing, that's when you discover everything. So if you're watching this right now thinking, you can't live your dream because you don't have enough money, let me tell you the truth. You don't need money. You need courage, you need kindness, and you need the will to try. Because when you step into the unknown with nothing, that's when you realize you already have everything.